We are going to begin in child's pose. Take your knees wide and toes together. If that doesn't feel good for you, there's always the option of knees together, toes together. You could even take a blanket and roll it up and put it behind the back of your legs to make this a little bit more relaxed, feel a little less pressure in the knees if that's something you feel. Then reach the hands forward, bring the forehead down to the mat. This is just that part of class where we settle in. Forget about anything you have or had on your to-do list today, and just allow yourself to drop into this hour that is just for you. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, allow yourself to settle down to the mat a little bit more. If your knees are wide, try to wiggle your torso between your thighs. So notice if you rock your hips side to side, you can almost wiggle your ribs to the inside of your thighs. And if that doesn't feel possible, maybe you take your knees a little bit wider until you can get a little closer. And then once you've gotten the torso in the center, then sink the chest down to the mat. Deep breath in and out. Let's do a mini full body scan. So just quickly bring your awareness from the crown of your head down to your shoulders. See how these parts of your body are feeling as we walk our way down. Check on your arms, your fingers. Then walk your way down your spine, right? Your shoulders to your spine, all the way to the low back. How's your abdomen feeling? Your stomach? Your hips? And then all the way down the legs, right to your ankles and your big toe. How does your physical body feel today? Now, as I mentioned, I am feeling a little bit tired. My physical body would like to move a bit slower. I'd like you to check in with yours and see what your physical body is saying. And now remember to try and discern between the physical body and the thinking mind, right? These are two separate things. Your mind could be tired or energized, and your body could be the opposite. So take 5 really slow breaths and get in touch with what your body is asking for today. Your mind starts to wander, bring it back to the physical body. Deep breath in and out. On your next inhale, reach your hands forward. Pull yourself up to a tabletop pose. Eyes can be closed for this if you like. Then walk your knees under your hips, walk your hands forward, and very gently lower yourself all the way down to your belly. Then take your forehead on top of your hands and rest here with your legs extended out behind you. Come back to the physical body once more. How does this feel in your legs and your hips as we've changed the position? Inhale Exhale. All right, starting to really deepen the breath. Maybe you can begin your Ujjayi breath. Inhale, push your diaphragm down into your abdomen. So feel your diaphragm stretch down as you inhale. You'll also feel the belly press into the mat. And then exhale, empty the lungs. Feel your hips fall down towards the mat. Shoulders relax. Again, inhale, fill up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in and out. Next, inhale, lift your head off your hands gently, and then slide your left knee out to the side. So you're going to slide your left knee out until your knee is in line with your hip and your knee is in line with your ankle. If you're like me, I'm going to slide over on my mat. So I keep my knee and the ankle on my mat just to pad the inside of the knee. If you've got something at home, you could put that in the inside of the knee as well. This is a little bit of a hip stretch. So if you think about our tree pose, right? This is essentially a lot what tree pose looks like, just laying down. So try to relax your left hip down to the ground. You can bring your right ear to your palms and turn your head looking over to the left. Nice stretch on the left side of the neck. Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in. Option to stay here. If you really feel cozy and comfy, you could continue the stretch and just relax into the stretch. Or on the next inhale, lift your upper body into a Sphinx pose. And it might be like a baby Sphinx, because if you look, this is a pretty big stretch on the hip. It can be a lot of weight on the low back. So find something that feels comfortable for you and then think about pulling the chest through the arms. So you'll see the stretch can get a little bit more intense. Breath in and out. Inhale, try to stay with my breath cueing. Exhale. Once more, inhale. And then exhale, if you're up, lower back down, bring your head back onto your hands. Turn your head to look over to the left side if it feels comfortable. Now, we are going to start to fire this position up a little bit. So on the next inhale, you'll internally rotate your thigh. So the thigh is going to roll inwards. What that will look like in theory is you'll start to rotate in and the foot will lift up towards the ceiling. So think about, we're just rotating in the ball socket, right, of the hip. That's all that's rotating. So as you do this, see if you can get a little deeper, get more and more rotation. Rotate, 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 trying to internally rotate the thigh while keeping the left hip down to the ground for 3, 2, maybe a little bit more. 1. Breath in. And then exhale, lower that foot down to the ground. Great. Now we're just going to do this exact same thing with the breath. Take a look, and ideally your knee is somewhere in line with the hip. If this is a lot for you, you could slide the knee back slightly. You'll have more range. For me, I'm going to bring it up a little bit more to make it more challenging, keeping it in line with the hip. Option to stay low, or for round 2, you could lift up into Sphinx and try and work from a Sphinx-ish pose. Notice mine's a little bit lower. Squeeze your scapula together. And then as you inhale, you'll internally rotate. Exhale, lower the foot down to the ground. So try and do this really smoothly. Take all of the rigid kind of clicks out of the hip. Inhale. If your hip is clicking, that's normal, by the way. But try to smooth it out. Exhale, lower down. Again, inhale, lift up, internal rotation. And then exhale, lower. Now, just because we can and we should, we're going to try to do the opposite, which is external rotation. So from whatever pose you've chosen, we're only going to work on this one for a little bit. Try to lift the knee up off of the mat and bring your weight onto the ball of your back foot. So if you see I'm here, I can't even do it. From here, I can kind of lift and hold, but it's not about lifting. It's about feeling that engagement. So think about pushing your left ankle down into the mat as you lift the left knee up for 3. You should feel all the muscles in the groin fire. You're barely going to move. 2. And 1, relax the hip. Breath in. Slowly slide your leg back as you exhale. Rotate the thighs so the thigh is on the top of the mat. Bring your head back to your hands for a few more breaths before we move on to the other side. One of my favorite phrases, or I guess kind of you could call it a quote, is first the body whispers, then the body speaks, and eventually the body yells. So today's class, being focused on the physical body, is really to listen to your body. Is it whispering about anything as we go through those movements? Consider that as your intention today. Is my body trying to tell me anything? And just be the witness, right? The listener. Now bring your right knee out to the side. Reminder that you can scoot over or put some padding under the knee. And we start with just this big stretch. So forehead can either be on the hands or maybe you turn the ear to the left side. Try to get the knee, if you can, in line with the hip, but if that feels like a lot, option to have it back slightly, just encouraging a big stretch in the right hip. So even for me, sometimes I like to bring my right hand to my glute and just tell that hip and that butt cheek to relax down to the ground to open up the hip more. Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Now, a reminder, you might stay here and just enjoy the stretch and be like, oh, Madison, this is really my kind of class. We're just going to chill out like this. You're working, right? You're stretching. Option 2 is to come up into a Sphinx pose. So it might not be as high. It could be a little bit lower of a Sphinx, but try to think about pulling your chest through your biceps, right? Almost like pulling forward with the hands. Then once you're here, you'll feel a deeper stretch on that right hip, right? And then we can begin our internal rotation. So the thigh rolls in, the foot will lift up. And for me, it starts low, but we're going to take this for 4 or 5 breaths. So as you breathe, see if you can start to deepen every breath in. Draw it a little bit further up towards the sky, and then exhale, stay. Again, inhale, rotate. Exhale, stay. Flex through the foot. Once more, inhale, rotate, rotate, rotate. Exhale, stay. All right, you should be about at your max as you inhale. And then exhale, lower the foot down to the ground. Forehead might come down to the hands. Reminder, option to work from down here, or we move one breath to one movement. So inhale, internally rotate, lift the foot. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Can you bring your awareness in to your hip? What is happening as you inhale, lift? Reminder, keep that foot flexed. Exhale, lower. Awesome work. Now we'll do the opposite. So think about pushing your left or your right ankle into the ground as you try to lift the right knee up off the mat. It's impossible, right? But this idea is, as you do this motion, start to try to lift, 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 and the inside of the hip near the groin should start to think about external rotation as you hold and breathe. Maybe push the ankle down a little harder, try to lift the knee. 3, 2, 1. Fantastic work. Lower the forehead down if it's up. Head comes to the hands. Then bring the right leg back. Take the rotation out of the hip and both thighs come to the mat. Deep breath in. And out. Inhale. Exhale. All right, inhale, lift your head up, slide your hands back by your sides, squeeze the scapula together, curl the toes under. We will press up to tabletop, or if you're feeling fiery, plank. Oh my God. Yep, that's it for me, tabletop pose. And then we can move to either tabletop, stay there, or downward facing dog, lift the hips up high. If you are in downward dog, remember that we have the triceps rotating inward. So if you peek at the video, triceps go from here into here as you push the hands into the mat. This prevents us from dipping down into our chest and getting into our passive range. Connect all 10 fingers to the mat. So your hands aren't just like loose and hanging out. They're locked into the mat, whether you're in tabletop or down dog. Feel the fingers press for 3, 2, and then 1. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of the mat and fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, widen your feet, hip width distance apart. So make them, nice as wide as the hips. Turn your toes out, your heels in. Sit your butt back. So we're coming towards a yogi squat, but not all the way. So if you notice, I've got my hands on the mat, fingertips on the mat. If you're down here and you're like, Madison, this is great. I know it's great, but maybe just bring your butt up a little and then it'll be even more great, right? You should feel the thighs engaged, the legs engaged. Now push the knees out behind you and hold in this deep squat for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach the hands forward. And then exhale, come to standing nice and easy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I stood up too fast. Hands by your sides. Tadasana. Okay, Tadasana. Close your eyes. Come back to this intention, right? Our first time standing in class. How's your body feeling today? Is your body trying to say anything? Just listen. Breath in and out. Inhale, sweep your hands high, look up. And then exhale, take your hands to your hips. So bring your fingers towards your hip bones, right on the front of the hips. This is going to prevent the hip from moving out too far. Shift your weight over into your left leg, just a gentle shift. And then make a kickstand with your right heel. So your toe stays on the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, widen out to the side like you're in tree pose without being in tree pose. So we just think about widening, widening. Now, do the same thing we did on the ground. Try to think about external rotation, opening the hip. But if you start to feel like this, don't let that happen. Hold and breathe. 3, 2, spine is long. Pull the belly up and in. 1. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release. Switch your weight over. Inhale, opposite leg. Heel up, toe down. Exhale. Inhale, widen, but then mind-body connection. Don't let the hip open. If you find this easy, that's nice. If you want it to be harder, just try to push the knee back more. Try to think more about external rotation. As soon as I do that, my left butt cheek starts to cramp, right? You could definitely get your butt there if you push hard enough and hold. 3, 2, and then 1. Back to center. Exhale, release, feet together. Inhale, sweep the hands up, look up, reach high. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back towards a plank pose, and then come down to your knees. Curl your toes under, walk your hands back towards your thighs. Option 1, here, if you can't go to broken toe pose, if you can, sink down broken toe pose briefly. Now we're coming back to a seat. We're doing a little sunny, tons of variations today. We're gonna work in a lot of hip mobility because that's really what I wanna focus on. So we're going to come down to the ground. I'm talking a lot to distract you from how your feet are feeling. The option is to come down to the ground, use your hands, and come to a seat. Or you can do our new game, right? We love this game. Hands come to heart center, and now you have my permission to come out of broken toe pose and try to come to a seat without using your hands. So I'm doing it really weird. That was bizarre, right? I don't even know how I did that. The easiest way, kick the feet around, butt comes down. Once you're on the ground, reach your feet out in front of you. Curl your toes back towards your face. And then inhale, sweep the hands high. Next, exhale, hands come back to heart center, or hands can be behind you, fingertips point towards me. So if you take a look at my spine, if when you're here, you're more here and this is really hard to hold, walk your hands back until you can find length in the spine. If you're okay here, you can sit up nice and tall, scoop the flesh out from under your butt so you're firm on your sits bones. Then inhale, lift your right foot up towards the sky. Exhale, draw the knee up into the chest, squeeze, but don't put the foot on the ground. Don't put it on the ground yet. Don't do it yet. Nope, not yet, not yet, not yet. And then release, right foot comes to the ground. Breath in. Exhale, widen the right knee out to the side, and then you can bring that right foot to the inside of the right thigh. Now you might be like, yay, I love this yoga stretch. Unfortunately, we're not doing that yoga stretch today. We're doing something else. So before we move, pull your right hip back in space. If you notice, it's a big shift in my hips. Pull the right hip back and then flex through this left leg, nice and firm. Now, hands can come here, or remember, hands can be here. The goal is going to be to very slowly, we'll inhale, lift the foot, and then bring it to the side. So try it with me. If you're here and you're like this, remember, we've worked on this before, your foot should barely lift. So take a breath in, lift the foot up, and then slowly move it out to the side. If your hand's in the way, widen the hand, widen, 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 widen. Oh my gosh, that inner hip, 3, 2, and 1, release the foot down. Now inhale the hands high, reach up. Exhale, side bend over to the left. The elbow can come to the inside of the leg. You reach up and over. Maybe the hand can come towards the toe. Think about lengthening through the left side of your body. So don't forget that we reach up and over, not just kind of dumping down and holding, right? Extend from the hip, push your right hip down as you breathe. 3. Reach the right hand long, arm is straight. 2. 1. Inhale, lift back up, hands high. Great work. Exhale, hands come back either behind you. Maybe you want to heart center or press them down into the ground. If you look, my right hand is in front of my right knee, my left hand behind my left leg. We'll take a breath in. And now we have to move out of it. So inhale, lift, hold, squeeze, 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 slow, 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 until the foot is back into center, and then release. All right, breath in. Exhale, draw the right knee up into the chest. Inhale, extend the leg, float it. Exhale, release. Opposite side. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, draw the left knee in, but don't put the foot on the ground. Don't do it yet. Nope, keep squeezing, lifting. How tight can you get it up without putting the foot? 3, 2, and 1. Release the foot down. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bring the left knee out to the side. So same concept here. First, we lengthen the spine up, pull your left hip back in space. Big shift. Left hip back, flex through the right leg, right foot. Everything is super engaged. Then you can take your left hand to either the front of the knee and your right hand out to the side, or you could be back chilling on the beach. Either way, I care about working all this tissue in the hip, right? Your hip flexors. Take a breath in, lift the foot, and then slowly, we're in no rush. I want you to be shaking and shivering. This is a sweat club. I said it was going to be slower today. I didn't say we weren't going to sweat. We have to. 3, 2, and 1. I got to stay on with my branding. If your leg cramped, if your butt cramped, if your quad cramped, pound your hands on the top of your thigh. Give yourself a second. And then inhale, reach the hands high. Now we have our nice side bend over to the right side. So option to take that hand to the inside of the right leg. Up and over. Notice the difference between this and this. Open and reach. One long line. Push your left hip down into the mat. So actually feel the left hip, left glute, left knee push down as you reach up and over. Palm can be face up. Lengthen. Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Breath in. And then with the strength of your core, reach your right hand forward, lift back up to center. exhale. So replace your hands, maybe left hand in front of the left knee, right hand to the back. Maybe you're both here, whatever works for you. This is going to be harder because the leg is wider. Inhale, lift the foot, squeeze, squeeze, go slow. 3, my hip is cramping. 2, I feel it. 3, 2, and 1, and release down. Great work. Inhale the hands high one more time. Lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, close the left knee. Inhale, lift that left foot up. Exhale, extend the foot forward and release. Fantastic work. Okay, are we done yet? No, of course not, team. Walk your hands back this time and then come to a bear seat. This is called a bear seat in multiple disciplines. So you may have done this in yoga. Go ahead and do a little bit of this. These are called windshield wipers. In my opinion, they're pretty useless, but they might feel good, right? So have fun with it. Just moving through one hip to the other. After this, we're going to do windshield wipers, but with intention. Come to the, let's say, right leg forward. I think that should be the front of your mat. Take your hand on top of your right knee. If you look at me, right, we go bear sit to here. Left knee in line with the left hip. Left knee in line with the ankle. If that is too much, you could zip it in. So either zipped in, zipped out. Then right ankle in line with right knee, like they would cue you in pigeon pose. This is a great alternative for pigeon. I actually tend to do this more in class than pigeon because it focuses on our hip, which is what we're working on today. So press your right hand into the top of your right knee, firm. Really push the knee down. Now, you can take your left hand behind you. You might be leaning to the side. You could be here pushing. But I don't want you to let your right knee lift at all. So keep the right knee down. And then on your next breath in, lift the left knee up as high as you can get it, maybe coming onto the ball of your foot, right? Without the right knee lifting. Keep fighting for more range. You should be making the cutest faces right now as you try to get more and more range. Open the leg. Open, 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 open. 3. Don't let the right knee lift. 2. Squeeze. And 1. All right, release, and then we'll transition to the other side. So you'll just spin to the back of the mat, and it's just a windshield wiper to get you there, right? To the back, take a look again. Right knee in line with right hip, right knee in line with right ankle. Same thing in the front. 90-90, that's what this is called, because we have 2 90-degree angles, right? Okay, same thing. Bring your hand to your left knee. Now, feel the weight essentially in this left hip to start. Nice and strong. Right hand can go back. Start to lean onto that hand. Don't let your left knee lift. And then inhale, lift your right knee up as high as you can get it. And if you reach a stopping point, that's fine. Maybe lean back more and see if you can get more and more and more and more. When you think you can't, you probably can. I promise. So just keep trying to get more and more range, right? Little more range in the hips. Your hips are going to feel so buttery after this class. I promise. 3, 2, great work. And 1, awesome. Release, come back to center, and let's find your bear sit. Now, do another round of windshield wipers. Just moving through the new range of motion. And then come back to center. Okay, we're making our way towards tabletop pose. How do we get there? However you want. Option 1, go to tabletop. Option 2, look, mom, no hands. It's funny because my mom's actually in this class and I say that all the time, but I can be like, look, mom, no hands. And slide the feet back, come to your knees. There we go. Walk your way back. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and now we're in tabletop. Fantastic work. I see some of that good, slow, patient movement. Nice work, team. All right, zip your knees together. Just for balance, it's going to feel better. Then inhale your left leg back. No toe on the ground. Try to take the bend out of the low back, right? Sometimes it's easy to be like, I'm just chilling. No, we're not chilling. Core is engaged. Lift the foot. Point or flex the foot, whatever makes you happy. Breath in. Exhale, take the left knee to the left tricep. We'll do that just a few times. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Once more, inhale, extend and reach. Core is in. Exhale, left knee, left tricep, and then step the foot to the outside of the hands, coming into a nice big lizard lunge. Now push your right knee back as far as you can get it. You might want to pad up the back knee. Once you're in this stretch, for me, my hamstring feels weird, so I kind of have to wiggle my way into it and then sink down into the hip. Notice if you're rounding If you're like this, if you're rounding, try to drop the chest forward. Think about cow pose in the chest. You're lifting the heart up and through. So you're trying to actually get your spine follow the angle with the knee, right? One big line. Now push your right hip flexor down to the ground gently. Pull your left hip back slightly. This is it. You can get as deep or as not deep as you like, but I encourage you to put some strength into it rather than just passively stretching. We love flexibility, but what's better is mobility, right? We want to be able to move in the depth of our range of motion. So sink down, pull the left hip back, push the right hip flexor down to the ground. Breath in. Don't let the chest fall. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Again, maybe get a little more engagement. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in. All right, exhale, stay low. Shift your weight over your right hand. If you're feeling a lot of pressure in the wrist, you could also take a fist to the ground or take your right hand further forward to make the angle less. Inhale your left hand high. And then as you exhale, bring your left hand to the inside of the left knee and roll out onto the outer edge of the foot. So I have a bum ankle right now, but I'm able to do this because I'm flexing through the foot and super engaging. So make sure you're not like rolling onto the ankle and just letting it be loosey-goosey. You're engaging as you open. Then you can push the hand, maybe rotate, look over the left shoulder, hold and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. It's going to feel like you have two different sides of your body when we're out of this one. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in. Exhale, back to center. Walk your hands down. Now, here's the really nice moment. Wiggle your right knee forward. Swing and slide that left foot back. Walk your hands forward and then lower yourself all the way to your belly. Come to your belly and bring your head on your hands and just rest. Notice one side of your body versus the other. Check in. Is there anything your body is trying to tell you? And sometimes we think of that as a bad thing, right? But it's also a fantastic thing. Maybe your body's like, I feel really strong right now. This would be a great time to sign up for a marathon. This would be a good time for you to do XYZ. Unfortunately, unlike cars, we don't have that check engine light, right? But if we listen, we might have little indicators of what we can do and what we should do to make our body feel better. Take one more breath in and out. Inhale, slide the hands back, curl the toes under. If you're feeling strong, push up to plank or with me, tabletop. Great. And then same thing, zip the knees together. Hands are under the shoulders. Reach your right leg back and we hold for a few breaths. So find your leg extended, then core in. Take the bend out of the low back as you reach. Imagine I'm behind you, just like tugging on your leg, trying to lengthen through the hip. Inhale one more time. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Inhale, extend. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Again, inhale, reach, you've got this. Keep the core engaged. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Lean and then step your right foot through, low lunge. Now push the left knee back. Reminder, you can pad up the left knee if you like. So there are different stages to this stretch, almost like you would find in a yin class, but ours isn't just stretching, right? So first you find the passive range, relax the left hip down to the ground. Scapula, retract, so pull them together, pull the chest forward. Then, once you've got a little bit of depth in the stretch, right? You feel like you're down there, pull the right hip back, push the left hip flexor down and start to lengthen with strength. Breath in. And out. Turn it on as much as you like or off as much as you like. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in and out. All right, now we'll twist over to the right side. Reminder, if you feel a lot of pressure in the wrist, make that angle wider. Bring your left hand forward a bit more. Inhale the right hand high. Exhale, right hand to the inside of the right knee. Now, flex the foot and the ankle first. This ankle isn't going to kind of, what do we call this, roll in, right? Instead, you're going to have one strong line. As you flex through the ankle, push the hand, maybe gaze up and over the right shoulder in a bit of a spinal bend. Keep sinking the left hip flexor down. Breath in. And out. Inhale. Exhale. Again, breath in. Exhale back to center. Hand comes down. Now start to push that left hip back. Oh yeah, slide the right foot back. Come back to your tabletop pose. Walk your hands one handprint forward. Curl up and back. Downward facing dog. Breath in. And out. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of the mat however you like and fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit your butt back, take your arms wide, come through chair pose, nice and easy. Press yourself all the way up to standing. And then exhale, hands come to the hips. Bring your hands back on top of the hip flexors, hip bones, right? Making sure they stay forward. Step your feet about hip width distance apart. And then just sink down into your chair for a little bit. So feel the quads start to fire up. If that's hard for you, right? The quads being all these muscles on the top of your thighs. Close your eyes, actually. This is a fun activity. I want you to bend the knees with the eyes closed, lean forward, back, and side to side, and see where you find the most weight in your quads. That means the muscles in the top of the thigh, where are they working the most for you? That might be back, that might be forward. Typically, for a lot of people, it's going to be forward. If you got really light in your heels, you'll feel your quads turn on, get a little bit lower and hold. 3, 2, and then 1. Inhale, come to standing. Exhale, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, hands to the hips one more time. So just like we did before, make a kickstand with your right heel. And then open the knee to the side, as we did on the ground, right? Tree pose is a big hip opener. Today, we're going to kind of play more with the hip than less with the tree, right? Option 1 is to stay here, find the balance. Option 2, lift the right knee out to the side. So see if you can't notice if when you did that, your hips started to open, right? Hands on the hip flexors, lift the right knee, point the toe. Then try to push the knee back as far as you can. And this alone should be enough work. Trying to strong in the left leg, push the knee back more. Open through the hip, hold, hold, hold. 3. Now try to lift the knee as high as it can go without opening the hip. 2. Oh my gosh. And 1. Release. Feet together, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Breath in. And out. Inhale, sweep your hands up, look up. Exhale, hands come back to the hips. Same thing, opposite leg. Weight in the right leg, kickstand with the left. Then widen, our tree pose variation. First, find that widening without lifting the knee, right? You know you're pushing the knee back without opening the hip. Hands stay on the hips. Then inhale when you're ready, lift the knee up. My knee just popped so loud, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys can hear it. And now push the knee backwards without your hand, just with the strength of your leg. How far back can you push it? Strong through the right leg. Hold. If you fall out, come right back in, lift the knee up as high as you can get it now and hold 3, 2, 1. Release. Feet together, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Close your eyes. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale, sweep your hands up, look up. Exhale, hands back to the hips. You better believe we have more of this. Shift your weight over into your left leg, kickstand with your right. Right heel off the mat, then widen the right knee out to the side. Remember, you get to decide where you're done with this. This is all about what your body's asking for. So maybe you stay here and you're like, I'm in tree pose, I'm crushing it. Great. If you like, you can start to lift that knee up out to the side. Now, I have to do this variation just because it feels remiss if I don't do it at least once or twice. So find your balance. Lift the knee about 90, any more than that, and you're probably gonna scream. Then inhale, try to straighten the leg any amount. Oh my God, my hip flexor. Exhale, bend into the knee. Maybe take it a bit lower so you don't yell like I did. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. We're preparing. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend in the knee. Lift it as high as it can, and then can you come into your tree? Bring the foot somewhere to the leg, either above or below the knee, ideally not on the knee. You're not gonna die if you put it on the knee. You just gotta make sure to push the knee back into the foot. If you like, you can reach down, grab for your hand, and bring you into tree. But I would like you to try, on the other side as well, without the hand first, right? Because so many of us, we do tree pose and yoga and we just use the hand every time. But we're never gonna get there if we don't use this bad boy hip flexor to help us. All right, option to take the hands up, find your version of tree. Maybe if you're feeling like you want to try something different today, you could bring your right forearm to the top of your right thigh and be like a half tree. There's probably a word for this. You guys can tell me later if there is. Sideways tree, windy tree. Yeah, whatever you like. 3. Strong through the left leg. 2. And then 1, inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, right knee comes into the chest. Hold it there. Inhale, lift the knee high. Exhale, release, feet together, hands by your sides. Tadasana, shake it out, close your eyes, 3 breaths. Notice the difference between one side and the other. And it's likely you're going to feel heat in both legs, but in different places. One more breath in. And out. All right, shift your weight over into your right leg, strong and sturdy right leg. Inhale, lift the left heel off the mat. So find your kickstand first. Option to stay here. You're holding tree, you're lifting through the spine, right? If you like, you can start to lift that left knee up out to the side. Now, I made the rookie mistake, or maybe the pro mistake of trying to keep my knee too high as we did this straightening thing, because the higher it is, the harder it is. And my hip flexor was like, ma'am, no. So maybe you lower slightly a little bit before we inhale, extend. Oh. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Once more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Now, inhale, lift the knee up. How high can you get it? Lift, lift, lift. Bring the foot in towards the thigh, and maybe you can place the foot on the thigh somewhere without the help of the hand. You're welcome to, once you're like, Madison, that's as high as she goes, you can lift down and in, find your tree variation. Hands can reach high. If you did our tumbling tree, our windy tree, as I'm going to call it, on the other side, please do it on this side as well. Think about opening through the side body and lifting up and over, right? Anytime we do a side bend, it's not about collapsing, it's about reaching. It's actually about spinal extension. Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. All right, inhale, lift the hands high. Exhale, draw the left knee into the chest. Inhale, reach. Exhale, feet together, hands by your sides. Tadasana, close your eyes. Breath in and out. Now let's check in with our body again. And sometimes I think we have the ability to skew negative, right? About what our body might have taught us in this poses. You might be like, yeah, my ankles need to be stronger. But can you think for a moment over the next 5 breaths? I would like you to remember and think of what you did really well in that. What did you do really well? And it might even be as simple as, I did really great at not giving up. You did do that really well. I agree. All right, moving down to the mat. Inhale, lift the hands high, look up. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Then widen your feet out. Take your heels and your toes out. Sit back, yogi squat. So you might be lower, you might be higher. Whatever you do, push either your hands or your elbows into your knees and push them into your knees, your hands. We've done this 9 million times. You know the drill by now. Pull your pelvic floor in and up as you squeeze, engage, and hold for 3, 2, 1, reach your hands forward, push your knees out behind you. How far can you push the knees out? This is it. After this, we're sitting. So give it your all. 5, 4, I did say it was a sweat club. 3, almost there. 2, push, push, push. And 1, come to a seat. Option 1, bring your hands down, make your way to a seat. Option 2, reach the hands forward, sit the butt back. Maybe you can transition through a seat, reach the legs out in front of you. Oh, hallelujah. We have made it down onto the ground. Okay, we're going to do, got a little bit more time. We're just gonna, actually, what I wanna do, we don't have time to do. So we're just gonna come down to our backs, come all the way down to the back. It wasn't anything brutal. I'll just save it for next class. Don't worry, team, you won't miss out. So all the way down. And then we are going to do a really luxurious figure 4 stretch. So left foot will be on the ground by your hip. Inhale your right leg up to the sky. Flex the foot, might be slightly bent, and then externally rotate the thigh. So if you look at your thigh, keep the knee in line with the hip and just roll the thigh out. Then bend into the knee and you come to a figure 4. Right knee or right ankle is on top of that left knee. You might stay here. Instead of just chilling though, you guys are gonna get sick of me saying this, push your right knee down out to the side so you encourage the stretch a little bit in the hip. If that feels okay, option to draw the left knee up towards the chest. If you're really craving this stretch with your hands, you can take your hands through the 4, right? Your right hand will go through the inside and then latch around the back of the left thigh with the left hand, push your elbow into the right knee. However, I'm a big fan of, if you use your hands, make sure to push the elbow into the knee and the knee into the hand, right? So you're finding ways to engage. If you're doing this without hands, push the low back down to the mat and use your legs to actually draw you deeper and push you out of the stretch simultaneously. Hold and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Inhale here. Yes. And then exhale, just release the foot down if it is up. Inhale the right leg high, internally rotate so the leg comes back to neutral. And then exhale your right foot down to the ground. Inhale, left leg high. And then externally rotate the thigh. You maybe look at the thigh, right? It doesn't move. Knee is still in line with hip. Roll the thigh out and then bring the ankle to the top of that knee. Now, option 1, stay here. Use the strength of your leg and your glute to push your left knee down and out. Strong, right? You might even get a little bit of a cramp in your left butt cheek. If you like, you can start to draw the right knee up towards the chest, but flex both feet. So no matter what you're doing, your feet are alive. They're very, very much involved in this posture. Option to try to stay here, push the low back down to the mat. Left knee out, right knee in, left ankle into the right knee. If you want, you can reach through the figure four and grab for the back of the thigh. If you take that option, though, you're pushing the knee into the elbow and the elbow into the knee. Do you ever feel like a contortionist? There's so many things we're doing in this, like so many different body parts. So even if you catch half of what I say, you're crushing it. Because there is a lot going on in these postures, right? Find a way that engages and that works for you and breathe. Inhale, exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. Once more, breath in, exhale. Whew. Release your right foot down to the mat. Inhale your left leg up and internally rotate so it's neutral. Exhale, left foot comes down to the ground. Take your feet wide, your knees together in recovery pose briefly, and just close your eyes. Allow your breath to flow. All right, next breath in. Separate the knees and come to happy baby. In happy baby, if you can at all, reach your hands through the inside of the knees. So even if you're up here, think about reaching the hands through the inside of the knees, and maybe they grab the top of the ankle or the shin. If you take a look at me, I'm grabbing the top of the shin, top of the ankle, but my knees are to the outside of the triceps. Same thing here. You'll want to reach the feet and then pull the knees down and out. A lot of times in class, I'll see people in happy baby and they're trying to pull their knees into their chest, right? Which you can't get any deeper if your knees are in the inside of your arms. So we need the knees to be on the outside so you can widen down, relax the head down to the mat. Push the feet into the hands into the feet. Little tug of war. And then let's make that a little more passive. So no longer push the feet, allow yourself to get into a pretty deep stretch on the hips. Breath in. Exhale, knees come together, hands by your sides, and then bring them to a T. So your palms are going to be down onto the ground. Knees are in line with the hips, so we've got that 90-degree bend again. And then you'll just take your knees over to the left side to start with an easy twist. Both knees stack. Maybe gaze over to the right if it feels okay on your neck. A reminder that if you have a different twist you would prefer to do, by all means, please take it. Whether we are online or live in person, I always prefer you to take what feels best in your body. Inhale. Exhale, transition through center. Take a little pause, maybe wiggle your hips to even out the hips, right? And then take the knees over to the right side. Gaze can come to the left. Allow your hands and shoulders to surrender down to the mat. Close your eyes, relax your face. And then if the mind wanders, as it tends to do, bring it back to the physical body. Where can you relax? What sensations do you feel? Breath in and out. Inhale back to center. If there's anything else you need to do to finish your practice, to make your really body feel complete, right? Feel like you've moved in a way you need to move, please take that now. If you're ready to move into Shavasana, that gives you a little bit of time to set up the ultimate Shavasana, right? So maybe you grab for some pillows to put under your knees. Maybe you take a pillow to put under your head. Find a way to get really comfortable. You could even grab your laptop or your phone, bring it into your bed. Shavasana in bed. There's nothing better. And then for those of you who are moving, take about 30 more seconds. Gives everybody who's getting into their ultimate Shavasana a little time as well. And then get out any movement once you're in Shavasana, any little wiggles you need to bring the body into stillness. Let your eyes shut down and get really heavy. Maybe wiggle your jaw side to side to make sure that it's completely relaxed in Shavasana. Let your shoulders fall down to the mat. Your fingers relax so much that they almost curl up in your hand a little bit. And then your toes fall out. Take a deep breath in. Exhale into Shavasana. If you would like to stay in Shavasana, please just stay. You can shut your video off, mute me, and go back into your meditation. But if you are ready to come out of your practice, you can begin with a full inhale and a full exhale. Invite movement into your fingers and your toes. And rock your head side to side. Open your mouth. Wiggle your jaw. Wrinkle your nose. And eventually reach your hands above your head. Take a nice big stretch. Stretch left and right. And then draw one knee into your chest and then the other. And roll over onto your favorite side using your arm as a pillow in fetal pose. Press yourself up to a comfortable seat facing the sound of my voice. And then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly once you arrive. Gently bow your chin. And then just briefly ask your body, is there anything that you need? And see if you get a response. Breath in and out. Inhale, lift your head back up. Slowly blink your eyes open, get reacquainted with the space around you. Thank you all. Fantastic work. Happy Sunday, and I will see you next week. As always, if you have any questions, I'm here to chat after class, or you can send me an email and we can chat. Thank you. Bye.